Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Pro Cousin from Two Hot Cousins here, and today I'm back with another video, and this time we are going to talk about the runes in this Wild Rift game. Now, the runes are very important, and the runes can really impact a game, and every lane has some preferred runes, and every champion has some preferred runes that really work together with their kit and their playing style. Now, before we start, I would like to ask everyone to subscribe for more awesome content, because we will be uploading weekly and we will be going strong this couple of months, and I hope we get your support with this. So make sure to subscribe and help us with this journey and get along with this journey together with me and Noob Cousin. Now, let's look at the runes. There are two types of runes. So we got the keystones. Those are the main runes. Those are the bigger impact runes. Those do the most damage and or most healing or HP. Those are the things with the better statistics. So these keystones are more important than the normal runes. Now then we have the secondary runes, and those are you pick one keystone in one of the paths, and then you pick another two secondary runes to go with it. So it's not like you pick one rune. No, you pick in total 3 runes that would work together and would give you the best gaming experience. Let's first talk about paths, because you have 3 paths: Domination, Resolve, and Inspiration. Now, in most cases, Domination is for attack damage champions. It also says for Domination, it's known as the Hunt and Eliminate Prey. So this is really something for assassins, for example, or for attack damage AD carries and stuff like that. Then we have Resolve, and that one is really known as the Live Forever rune path. Now, the Resolve path is really designed to go for tanks, supports, and stuff like that. If you're a peeler, if you're a support, if you're tank, Resolve is the way to go, because Resolve gives you extra armor, extra HP, extra magic resistance. So it's really the best path to go as a tank. The last one is Inspiration, and Inspiration outwit mere mortals. Now, Inspiration is kinda in between, because Inspiration really is good with ability power champions, but you can also have the Inspiration path for some supports. So it really differs, but most of the times Inspiration is really good on ability power champions. Now let's look at the keystones. We've got several keystones which belong to several paths. For example, we have Electrocute. Electrocute is with the path of Domination. Now, Electrocute's passive is that the basic attacks and abilities generate stacks on enemy champions hit, up to 1 per attack or cast. Applying 3 stacks to a target within a 3-second period causes them to be struck by lightning, dealing them 30 to 184 based on level, plus 40% of bonus AD, plus 25% AP damage. Now, it's also adaptive damage. Adaptive damage means that it deals either physical or magic damage depending on your bonus statistics, defaulting based on the origin of the effect. So whatever you're building, it's doing that much damage. So it basically says that you can also go ability power champions on this, but as you can see, the bonus AD is 40% and the bonus AP is 25%. So the keystone itself also refers to being more attack damage focused. Now, this Electrocute is very simple. You hit someone with 3 basic attacks, or mixed with 1 ability and 2 basic attacks, or something like that, just 3 attacks on the enemy champion, and it applies 3 stacks. If you do it within 3 seconds, it will cause a lightning bolt to come down and hit them for 30 to 184 damage based on level, of course, plus the bonus AD and AP. Now, this one is really good for mid laners, for assassins, and AD attack damage champions. Now let's look at Aerie. Aerie is something you go in the Inspiration path, and is very good for supports with who can give their AD carry and shield. Also for mid laners that they go ability power, who give their teammates a shield. Now, the Aerie has a passive which is basic attacks and abilities against an enemy champion signals Aerie to dash to them. And Aerie is kind of a floating cat-like creature that just floats to them and then circles them and comes back to you, dealing 10 to 60 damage based on level, plus 20% AD, plus 10% AP. And it also Also has adaptive damage. Now, for healing, shielding, or buffing an ally, signals Aerie to dash to them, shielding them for 20 to 120 HP, based on level, plus 40% AD, plus 20% AP for 2 seconds. Now, Aerie lingers on the target for 2 seconds before flying back to the user and cannot be sent out again until she returns. So she goes to the enemy champion or to your allied champion for 2 seconds, returns to you, and then she's just gone. She's just resting or something, she's gone. And when she's back, you can use it again with, for example, auto-attacking or shielding. Aerie is initially very slow, but gradually accelerates and can be picked up by moving nearer. So if you move closely to the champion you just attacked or shielded, the Aerie will be back sooner. Now, it also has adaptive damage, which deals either physical or magic damage depending on your bonus statistics. Aerie is, like I said, good for supports who give healing or who give a shield, because it gives a bigger shield up onto them, which is very important. And of course, this bonus AD again is more than AP, but in this case, in the case of Aerie, this is really an AP keystone that is being used. Now let's look at the next one, which is Conqueror. Now, Conqueror was introduced later on in League of Legends PC, and it was a very good keystone. It had some nerfs during the times, but it's still a very good keystone for most of the times bruisers and attack damage champions. Now, what do we mean with bruisers? So they're semi-tanks and semi-attack damage champions. So it's like in between, not really hardcore tanks and not really hardcore attack damage. And the Conqueror has a passive which is basic attacks and abilities generate stacks of Conqueror on enemy champions hit, up to 1 per attack or cast. Each stack of Conqueror lasts 8 seconds and grants 2 to 6 based on level bonus attack damage, or 4 to 12 based on level ability power, stacking up to 5 times for a maximum of 10 to 30 based on level bonus attack damage, or 20 to 60 based on level ability power. When fully stacked, deal 10% bonus adaptive damage to champions. And now this keystone is very good for bruisers, like I said, because bruisers most of the times come close. Whenever they come close, they could attack more because they have more, armor onto them. They have more sustain, more than, for example, ability power champions. You will never be able to farm really good with ability power champions the stacks of Conqueror. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people built this on AD champions and bruisers. Now we go to another one from the Path of Domination, which is Fleet Footwork, and this one is a very AD carry heavy rune. It's unique, energized, moving and basic attacking generates energized stacks up to 100. So you move and it stacks up, stacks up to 100. Now, Fleet Footwork, when fully energized, your next basic attack heals you for 15 to 85 based on level, plus 30% AD, plus 30% AP, and grants 20% bonus movement speed for 1 second. So you have to walk to get the stacks up, and once it hits 100, when it's fully energized, your next basic attack heals you. And this is very important for AD carries because they walk a lot in the lane and they get really poked out. And this Fleet Footwork can help them to regain health and sustain the lane because it's very important for them to farm. This is why Fleet Footwork is really being used a lot in bot lane, but also we see them a couple of times in top lane, for example with Gnar, so it differs, but the main area of Fleet Footwork is really AD carry. Now we go to another Resolve path, or not another, our first Resolve path keystone. It's Grasp of the Undying. Its passive is entering combat generates 1 stack every second for the next 3 seconds. Additional stacks may be generated by re-entering combat after 2 seconds. After reaching 4 stacks, your next basic attack within 6 seconds against an enemy champion consumes all stacks to deal 4% of your maximum health in bonus magic damage, restore 2% of your maximum health, and permanently grant 5 bonus health. The empowered attack duration refreshes whenever going in combat. On ranged champions, all effects are reduced by 60%. So this last line refers to it being almost useless with ranged champions. It's really not that good with ranged champions because all effects are reduced by 60%, and that's a lot. Now it's a very detailed and tough one to understand, but it basically says every time you enter combat, you generate 1 stack every second. So when you're fighting, you generate 1 stack every second. 3 seconds long, so it takes 3 seconds, and so basically you stack 3 stacks every second when entering combat. Now, additional stacks may be generated by re-entering combat. So you stop the combat and then you re-enter the combat after 2 seconds. So it takes time. 3 seconds are gone, you have 3 stacks, then you stop and you re-enter it after 2 seconds, you will get more stacks. And basically after reaching 4 stacks you will unlock all of these stats that you will get. And these you will get with your basic attack. So after reaching 4 stacks, your basic attack within 6 seconds of reaching the 4 stacks. So when you reach 4 stacks you need to be hitting them with the basic attack within 6 seconds. Against an enemy champion, and this gives you 4% of your maximum health in bonus magic damage. So the more bonus magic damage you have, the more maximum health. Restore 2% of your maximum health and permanently grant 5 bonus health. So it's really giving you more HP, and this is very durable for tanks and some bruisers as well that do not like to go very heavily AD attack damage. And this one is a very top lane heavy keystone. This will be used a lot in top lane. Now let's look at the next one from Resolve. It's Aftershock. Aftershock. Immobilizing an enemy champion grants a static 50 plus 50% bonus armor, and 50 plus 50% bonus magic resistance for 2.5 seconds. After the duration, you release a shockwave that deals 20 to 110 based on level plus 4% of your maximum health magic damage to nearby enemies. Now it's complicated, I know, the bonus blah blah blah. To make it easy, whenever you CC someone, so crowd control someone, so immobilize someone, you get a shield of armor and magic resistance that will reduce the amount of damage you take. So this one is really good for frontliners with a lot of stuns in them. Now after this shield of armor and magic resistance, it explodes after the duration. It's 2.5 seconds, and after 2.5 seconds it has a kind of explosion, a shockwave that deals damage, and the damage that it deals stacks on your magic damage and your maximum health. So this one is really good with frontliners, because frontliners like to get into the other enemy team, and whenever they proc this, the enemy team will do less damage, and your team will have more time to engage and do damage. And also, it will release a shockwave or explosion that deals damage to surrounding enemies. Now we go to one of the new runes for the Resolve path. It's Font of Life. Font of Life. The passive is slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion, marks them for 4 seconds. Allied champions with basic attack, marked champions, so marked enemies, heal for 3% of your maximum health over 2 seconds. So you are giving healing to your teammates by attacking someone else. So this is also important for Font of Life. You also need champions that do have the slowing ability or immobilizing ability. Otherwise it sucks. It's nothing that will help you. So slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion marks them for 4 seconds, and if within the 4 seconds, if allied champions attack them with basic attacks, so not abilities, basic attacks, they heal for 3% of your maximum health over 2 seconds. So you give them healing, you give your team healing, which is also could be a very, very good factor within team fights. Whenever you're throwing a slow, or whenever you're immobilizing someone, stunning someone, your AD carry, for example, who is basically all out basic attacking, will heal during 2 seconds, and if they have a lot of attack speed, they will heal all out. Now let's look at our last keystone, which is from the inspiration path. It is Kleptomancy. It's passive. After using an ability, your next ability hit or basic attack against an enemy champion will grant you a random item effect. Now the item effects are not really great. It's potions, it's wards, sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's different types of potions, sometimes it gives you a potion that can level up if you're close to leveling up. Kleptomancy was used a lot earlier, but now it seems to have fallen away. People use it a lot with Ezreal because Ezreal has a lot of poking potential. Kleptomancy really is being used for poking champions, but you don't see it very often anymore. So how you proc Kleptomancy is basically you use an ability, and then you hit after the ability use, your next ability hit or basic attack against an enemy champion, so it has to be an enemy champion, will grant you the item effect. So it's all random, the item effects. Nothing is scripted. You get all random items. But Kleptomancy fallen off. It's really not that great anymore. So yeah, these were our keystones. I don't want to bore you with a lot of information because the keystones are the most important ones. So I have covered the keystones now, and then we can look at the secondary runes in part 2 of this video. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, leave a like and subscribe because we are going to bring more awesome content, and I'll see you guys later.